Hello, everyone. What day is it today? Welcome back to Shaman Sisters, and thank you for joining us. I am Nova.
And hello, my name is Gachi. And a disclaimer as always, we do not know and understand everything about being a monk shaman, but we are here to share with you all our experience on our spiritual journey.
All right, everyone. So, this is the third time we had to re record this segment. And if we have to do it one more time, we are not going to do this segment.
We just skip
Okay.
this
So,
topic.
today we are
Yes.
going to be talking about emotions and growth for ourselves. But before we get to our topic, someone did ask why sometimes when we say something like we have to backtrack it. And we did a recording in November to say, Happy Hmong New Year, which Happy Hmong New Year to you all. After that recording in November, during editing, there were a lot of things that we both had to take out for our segments. And then after that, we just decided to delete the whole recording. So that happens because sometimes there are things that we're saying that our guides think might be offensive to others, where others might take offense to it, although we are not trying to offend anyone,
Mhm.
right? Anything that we share through our recordings, it's really to help talk about things that people don't really talk about as they're progressing through their shamanic journey. Especially, like their emotions and what happens when, they do this, or, things that people just don't talk about because it's not widely shared within the shamanic community or the shaman community. So of course,
Mhm.
our guides, if they think that we're gonna offend someone or someone's gonna feel offended, then we kind of have to reword, because sometimes you'll see, not see, but you'll hear that Kachi and I, we're struggling with what we're trying to say next. It's not because we don't know what we're going to say next, but it's because we're being prevented from saying the next word or the next sentence that we're going to say and share with you all. Other times, when if you're sharing something very specific
Mhm.
that it's not supposed to be shared with the general public, then your guides will stop you, and you will find yourself not even remembering what you're going to say next. It'll just be like a blink. This actually happens to me all the time. I don't know if it was last time when we were recording or like the time before then, where I was sharing while recording with you all like a specific incident that happened to me. And then I went into the beginning saying, like, kind of introducing it. And then right when I was about to say the main thing, it totally just switched. And I was like, okay, I have to edit that out. It just switched because it's not something that is either ready to be shared yet, or that my guys want to be shared yet, or just never to the general public, maybe like in a more intimate
Mhm.
setting with my family or close ones, yes, but not, to everyone. What we wanted to share with you all is our emotions about Hmong New Year as an individual and as a shaman. So, Kachi, can you go ahead and please share how you felt during this time?
Yes. So the beginning of November, I do remember feeling really emotional, just because I have something that I need to get done, you guys, but I'm not able to do it just yet because it's the pretty much what they like. Mom people say is like the end of the year. Let's wait until the New Year's, right? Where everyone is already taking their guides to go in. No big deal. So it's best to wait until the New Year's, so I will have to wait. So that's why I was a bit emotional in the beginning of November. That did kind of die down a little bit, where of course I became more anxious because my guys were ready to go and, have fun, explore, meet their loved ones, their parents, whoever it is that they need to go back home to. So the fact that I set, haven't done that part yet makes them even more emotional now because it's what, almost the end of December, and I haven't done that just yet, and there's a reasoning behind it. I'm sorry I can't share, but yes, just recently, I'll say about a week and a half ago, I woke up this one morning. I was feeling really, really empty. Where I guess we can say kakosha. I felt really kakosha. I was like, okay, let me play some, Hmong music, which I don't typically listen to Hmong music. I played it. I was like, didn't hit the spot. So I did remember telling my sister Nova about it as well. And then that morning, after I felt that way already, we had our master on the phone with us, and she was telling me why I felt that way. And it all clicked. My guys were going to teach me something new. So I did that day learn something really cool, really new, and I appreciate them for that. Thank you very much. And so from there on, I felt better. But then again, just every day now, I still feel really upset, like angry, anxious, sad, just because I haven't done what I need to do. And again, I have something big that's coming and I haven't done it just yet. So that's how I've been feeling overall throughout the end of this year. How about you, Nova? How have you been feeling overall?
Overall, I've just been very anxious, obviously because it's the new year and my guides want to go back, to where they came from and have some fun. So just very anxious, kind of awaiting for the right time for us to send them back and do that whole ceremony. So another thing I wanted to add was that prior to everything, I didn't really have a strong belief in the Saka and oh wait, no, not the Saka, sorry. In the event where Yuto Moto Yuko Pokong Yutsu Dakalo Noa Yuhula Dakalo Noa during the Nopikyo ceremony.
Hmm.
So that I didn't really have like a strong belief that or even believe that that they really do come back and share that moment, that meal. But recently, like in early November, I had a dream that my father-in-law came and he was just like upset because we haven't done it. I know they're waiting, like our ancestors are waiting, and yeah, that's how I've been feeling. I just know everyone's been very anxious to be able to just gather. About my growth, I just the I'm going to share 2 points or like two personal stories, and with these experiences that I'm sharing, I do not mean to offend anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
All right.
Again, what I'm sharing is just something that has happened to me and has made me come to a realization. First off, I do want to say that I'm very thankful for my spirit guides. They have helped me become a better individual. One a little funny thing is that I've noticed that I cuss less. I don't know, Kachi, if you remember, but I used to be like a potty mouth. I mean, I still am a little bit. I used to be like such a potty mouth. Like I couldn't go without saying the F word in my sentences.
You guys should hear her in the mornings while driving.
So in the very beginning, before I raised my first altar, um, I was faced with a really difficult situation, right? So during this situation between my shaman brother and I, he shares some things about, what he looks forward to in his journey. This is hard. And so during that conversation, I had said some really just disheartening and non-encouraging words to him, right? And it wasn't anything bad, but it was just like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's not right for you. That's not your path." But hello, who am I to like tell him what his path is? Everyone carves their own path. I observed that he was really upset and angry, but he still held his emotions in and still try to have a conversation with us, a normal conversation with us. So after we all walked away from that conversation, I didn't feel good at all. Like my heart weighed heavily, my conscience weighed heavily. I felt like such a terrible person. The next day, I called my master, my Sifa, and I apologized to her for my actions and what I did, and how I partaked in this situation. I told her that, in the future, and this is really also a promise to myself, like in the future, I'm going to try not to really partake in those kind of conversations. And then the day after that, I actually went over in person to apologize to my shaman brother. I told him that, I shouldn't have judged him and talked down harshly to him. He is in control of his future, his path, his guides, and his strength and his spiritual learning. So only he can make a difference. The next incident, it happened. I forget. It's kind of like a whole like collection, but it's around like the same time too. It was where my guides actually showed me through a dream how it felt to be talked down upon by, it was in a third person perspective, right? I saw everything that was happening. So it was like I was on the sideline kind of seeing everything. After that, I when I woke up, I realized how sad that other person must have felt, because then when I saw it through third person perspective in my dream, that's how I felt, like just very sad, stressed out. This was when I really had to step back from everyone, and that is everyone, including like my shaman sisters and brothers, where I had to step back, to reevaluate myself, because this wasn't who I wanted to be. I was becoming somebody who I didn't like. So I'm very happy again and very thankful for my guides for their patience and guidance. They really have helped instill the good in me, because if you all follow, or if you've ever listened to Tassie from Shaman Memoirs, she also explained that it's very easy, someone who's going through, their spiritual journey, to, in a snap of a finger, change to become an individual who has ill intentions. So for me, that was when I had to step back and process it. What I learned from these two incidents is that I should practice giving back positive, constructive feedback in our spiritual journey. We don't have to give harsh, constructive feedback. It's never a good feeling to bring other people down and their guides down, because many of you may not know, but when you give back critical, constructive feedback, whether it's like harsh and negative, it not only brings the person down, but it brings their guides down, where they close up and they don't want to share anymore. So by giving positive, constructive feedback, you're helping elevate the person, the individual, and you're helping elevate their guides, because then it makes them even more anxious, to want to learn, more eager to learn, and to open up more spiritually to help their human.
I agree with that completely. Part of my growth is what Nobet already explained as well. So this is just to add to it. I grew up with my parents. They've always practiced shamanism, so it's always been in my family and everything. So growing up, I didn't realize how important a ceremony is, regardless of how big or small it can be, of just just fixing the house or something that's really serious. They're all still very, I'll say, life threatening in a way, just because you don't know what a shaman will come across, and whatever they come across, they're either going to have to fight it, or they're going to have to somehow get it to get out of their way. And you just don't know what can ever happen or what can go wrong, especially if a shaman is coming across like a ceremony, or doing a ceremony of, what is that ceremony called?
Neng tu siya.
Yeah, Ning Sha. Like, it's a very serious situation. I just never realized how serious it was, because basically in this ceremony, the shaman is putting their life on the line to go and save the person from whatever it is that has them, or is trying to take them. And it's never, I will say, it's never guaranteed that the shaman will come out alive, or the person can come out alive. I'm learning and everything. I'm understanding the importance of every ceremony, why it's being done, and what's needed to be done. And overall, just everyone that is around, or whoever that is needing the help, you can't say too much before the ceremony or whatever. You can't discuss too much about it, just because it can put a stop to the shaman from getting past, if you know what I mean. Like, if you're talking too much before the shaman comes over and do the ceremony for you, it could put them in physical pain.
I can personally attest to that.
Yes, and I can share that in a bit. Or when it comes to that part of the ceremony of whatever you were discussing, they won't be able to pass unless you do apologize. And it's not the shaman being like, what is that called? Like, it's not the shaman wanting, like,
Like being aggressive,
yes, being
rude.
aggressive or anything, or rude. Yes, it's just you were talking about it. So when it comes to that part, you need to apologize so they can get past it. So it's just very serious thing, and something I've learned, throughout my shaman journey, that it is important, and it's a part of growth that I've seen as well, because it never used to mean anything to me at all. But let me share that little story about what Nova just said. I actually personally wanted a ceremony done for my husband, and I initially asked Nova to come over and please, perform that ceremony and everything.
Mhm.
But that day before she was supposed to come, my husband and I just kind of bickered about it, because I forgot why, but I think I was just really upset at him because he wasn't understanding the importance of it, while I'm stressed over here because I know that he needs this done, but he just wasn't understanding. So we kind of bickered and argued a little bit about it. And I remember calling Nova after, and I was like, I felt like I don't know what to do for him anymore, because he doesn't understand, you know. And
Mhm.
little did I know, it triggered her. She couldn't come do it the next day.
No, she gave me a hurt thumb. My thumb, the joint, like right where the thumb hits the palm, it was
Yes.
hurting so bad. Like I couldn't move my
Well, let's
finger.
just say it was
It
broken.
was.
It was just broken.
It
Like a
was.
loose finger.
It hurt so bad. I couldn't move it at all. And so I'm thinking like, oh, I can't do the ceremony because then I can't even put my tuning on my thumb because it hurts so bad.
And I ultimately knew it was my fault, because I think she called me after that. She's like, "Oh my god, my thumb hurts," and I was just like,
I
"Oh."
think it was already hurting before.
Or was it,
Yeah, it
huh?
was hurting
Yes,
before, and then you
yes.
um
And then I told
yeah, and
her,
then you told me, which I
right?
already
I
kinda
told
had an
you.
idea, but I was like, "Okay."
Yes. But I knew it was me already, because again, I know things like this happen. So I figured it was
Mhm.
me, but I was like, I don't know why it's hurting. But really, it's because it was what my husband and I had a disagreement on and everything. But overall, she did come back afterwards, after him and I both felt better about the situation and everything. And she came back and she did do the ceremony. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, which is
Yes.
very understandable. Is that a word?
Hmm.
Standable? Because yeah, it is.
Duh.
Which is very understandable, and as a human individual, like, I understood, why
Hmm.
they were having a disagreement, and,
Which I don't
um,
remember
I
why they
remember
had a
why, but I'm
disagreement.
not gonna tell you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
anyways.
Tell me later.
Um, I I already told her that, okay, once you both come to an agreement, I'll be
Hmm.
okay, like, but my guides felt away. So there's no way of me, like, trying to make my guys feel better or calm them.
Yes.
I can say,
Because
yeah,
they already said something that they weren't happy with.
yeah, they were already
And I
offended.
totally understand. Yeah, I totally understand because that's how it is. Like even with my guides,
Yeah,
like someone could say something before I jingle bell and then bam, I won't be able to jingle bell.
yeah.
And when I tell you, if you're not able to jingle bell, it's really serious. Like you cannot on word, like you cannot say a word, like your words would be all backwards and mixing up and everything. That's how serious it really
Oh,
is.
yes, even if you okay. This is
Yes.
off topic, but okay, so it happened to me not too long ago where I am really busy with my finals and just the papers and
Mhm.
everything. So I've been telling my guys like, "Oh, I'll jingle tomorrow or I'll jingle the next day. I will jingle, like on Saturday or the like in a couple days." And so I
Yeah.
kept putting it off and off and off, and then when I finally did, oh my god, they um made me feel how they felt. So
Mhm.
when I started, I sat on my bench to try to like heck we're gonna go now, which usually just comes out very naturally. I couldn't for the life of me say it at all.
Mhm.
I only said one line and I kept repeating it over and over and over and over,
Right.
like, again and again, and so I was like, "Oh, shoot. Did I forget something? Did I forget something?"
Mhm.
And then I had to, like I actually also forgot to call my guides back to my altar too before I yell my Tiho to, like, just to figure out what I forgot, and then I tried it again, and then again, I, like, got off and I forgot it, and then I realized I forgot to call them back home, so I had to do that later on to call them back to
Mm.
my altar, but
Mhm. It's really serious.
yeah.
Which brings us down to a few stories, short stories that I wanted to share with you all. This first story, I'll say these stories are kind of funny just because I'm kind of like forgetful or whatever. So, I was on my period at the beginning of this month and everything. And I believe it was my last day. So usually the last day is a very tricky day while I'm on my period because it's like, okay, I'm not leaking completely at all. So that whole day I was not leaking. So it was around like 5, 6 p.m. My daughter is home from school. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just take away all the products and put them away since I don't need it anymore, right? Because I'm not leaking. And I'm sitting on the kitchen table or on the chair and I'm helping my daughter with her homework and everything. We're reading at this time. And I just remember like I feel like I was leaking, but I was like, I don't think so. It'd be tricky. So then I was like, I don't think I'm a leak, or I can wait until after I'm done helping her with her homework and everything. But little did I know, I felt like a gush of leak. And right before I felt that, one of like my guys already yelled my name, like from distance, but in my head, they already yelled at me. They yelled my name and it was just like, Gachi! Like, they were kind of like, hurry up! I, for the life of me, got up so fast and ran to the toilet and put on like a tampon and everything and cleaned myself. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So that's something that happened recently, and also something that also happened. So I have this the copper mong bracelet a few weeks ago. Jock coat, right? It kind of like came off. I lost one of them. So I'm like, okay, my bracelet is still on, but then like Jacka, like they broke. So what am I gonna do? Oh my gosh. So I was so stressed about it for like a few days. And this one morning, I just woke up and I was minding my own business and everything. And I finally looked down to my hand, my wrist, because it was a lot tighter. I was like, why is it so tight? And I looked down and it was connected. Like, it was connected to the other side. And I was like, oh my gosh, who did that? I was so shocked. So I was like, okay, maybe my husband did it because he had heard me like very, you know, upset over it. So I went to my husband. I was just like, did you do this? And he was like, no, I didn't. I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yes. I'm like, don't lie to me. Did you do this or not? And he was like, no, I didn't. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought about it instantly. I was like, oh my gosh, my guys did it. Oh my gosh. So I called my master. We call her for everything.
Yes.
Called
Everything.
my master and I was telling her, and she was like, yes, they do stuff like that because you were really stressed about it. I was like, that's true, because I was so stressed for a few days. Like, oh my gosh, my bracelet. Oh my gosh. So that's something that I found that was really, really cool. I
Oh.
love it for that. Yes.
You know what that reminds me of? Okay, last semester, not this semester, even though I was stressed
Mhm.
this semester, but last semester I'm stressed every
She was
semester.
really stressed.
Um,
Mhm.
I was trying to find a topic that I had to write about, and um I was like, I kept procrastinating and procrastinating because I didn't know what kind of topic to write about, and I almost didn't do my paper because I was so stressed. But then all of a sudden, like my guides came and told me, they're like, "Oh, you can write about this. You can write about this." So they gave me the idea, and I did write on it. Little did I know I got an A. Woo, woo, woo. But I mean, they are really helpful. They're really helpful. In just our everyday lives too. Just not, spiritually with our spiritual journey, but they're very helpful with everything that we do.
Mhm. That is very true. And also, just something I really want to share, because this is a serious subject or serious matter. Can I help you? Anyway, yes, this is a very serious matter. To me, I will say I know a lot of other lineages, they don't practice this anymore because I will say generations has changed. They're new generations now. But for me in particular, I still do. So if a female is on their period, even myself, I will say, please, please, please be very mindful and do not sit on a shaman's bench. Okay. So the reasoning why is because you will get their bench, or in other words, their ninja ningwa, dirty. Okay. Recently, I had someone over, and I will say it was pretty packed. And I don't fully blame that person. Maybe they just didn't know. And it was my fault for not announcing it because, first of all, I didn't think anybody would sit on my bench. But she has just sat on my bench, and instantly I was like, oh my gosh, she's on her period. So I was telling my husband to please tell her to please not sit on there if she's on her period. But then I understand that it was just kind of rude, and not really rude, but rude because a lot of people was over. So I just didn't want to put that person on a hot spot or a hot seat, even though I'm kind of like worried about my
She's so good. I've been like, "Excuse
bitch.
me, please."
Yes.
Off.
But I wasn't trying to be rude, but really, I was like, it's a serious matter, you know? But, anyways, the next day before I woke up, I, let's see, I had a dream that I was on the toilet and I was on my period and I was wiping away my period blood and everything, and in front of me was my master. She was sitting in front of me. She kept flushing the toilet because it kept smelling like that period blood. Because every time, like before she
Mhm.
flushed it, I was like smelling that, and then she flushed it and then stopped smelling. And I was like, oh, it stinks. Like, but I'm like, why is she sitting in front of me and just flushing the toilet? So I didn't like, of course, in my dream, it clicked in my head that, oh, it's because I'm on my period and it took away the period smell. Yes. But then when I woke up, it didn't click right to me yet. And I was talking to Nova because she had called me. So I was talking to Nova and she was like, oh my God, it's what happened yesterday. And instantly I just got up and like freaked out. Not really, but I was just like, oh my gosh, that's right. So I had to jump downstairs, take my chair, go clean it, and everything. I was like, yes, please don't ever sit in my chair anymore, anybody. It's not me being rude, but it's just me being protective of my chair just because if it is really dirty, ultimately I will just have to get a new one. And new chairs cost a lot.
Yes. And in our next episode, we will go into more details about just etiquette that, we all should be mindful of, especially, if we're not shamans and you are at a house where there is a shaman or at a shaman's house. Just some things to be mindful of.
Mhm.
We're going to go into just share some of our dreams and how they come to fruition in real life or reality.
Right.
And also, what was the other
We'll be we'll be sharing the different dialects,
one?
clothings, and different gifts or guides because that all ties together.
Yes.
So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye.